morning.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Juice in the Morning. We are in a new studio. It's actually just down the hall. I spent the whole day yesterday moving everything. Couldn't get the old table that the Smugcast let us borrow in because they decided to make it to where you couldn't take the legs off of it. So I hauled in a plastic table and I overcame and adapted, and we're winning now. But across from me, Jonny Boughton is back. How are you doing today, man?
Poor life choices make me feel like absolute shit right now, but I'm
loving the Hawaiian shirt.
Thank you.
It took me about 3 minutes to figure out the Batman was on it as well, so I'm appreciating that. But it's good to see you, man. Shane is sick this week, so you will not hear his lovely voice on the podcast this week. But the third person joining us today is Eddy Blake. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I appreciate you taking the time to come out here to Indiana because I think it's just a weird situation. Like, I saw somebody share your video on Facebook because I'm friends with like 1 million people on Facebook just for the podcast. Right. And I watched the video and I was like, immediately I clicked on your name and I liked your page and then sent you a message because I assumed you were not in Indiana. Like, I was just like, this video is like, I was like, this isn't like a guy from Indiana. So I messaged you and I said, hey man, you want to like call in and do an interview or something? Because we've done some phone interviews with the podcast. And then, through a couple messages, we found out that you were in Indiana. And I was like, well, do you just want to come into the studio? So I'm glad to have you on, man. So kind of give people just an idea because I saw from your post that you had said, 2 years in the making of this video and this song. Kind of give us a little bit of like the story of how that kind of happened.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it started out as I actually wrote that as a rap record because I used to be a rapper. Mm-hmm. Then I realized I can't rap. It's really the story of everyone who wants to be a rapper. Like, damn, like I got bars for days, but like, I put on a record. It's just like this guy sounds like an awkward white dude. So I don't understand. What happened is I actually wrote it as a rap record. Someone saw me perform. His name's actually Amani Trey Niner. He is pretty big in the city. He went on tour with 3-6, Lil White, a handful of other people. He's been around the industry.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's dope.
Those are like some of my favorite, like older, like I mean, they still make stuff, but like they were my shit back in the day.
Oh, for sure. And 3-6 has just now started getting credit for like legitimately influencing the entire planet.
Good.
With entertainment, which is amazing.
Love that.
But he's also a tattoo artist. He's just one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. And he saw me perform one time at this open mic when I was kind of trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. And he was like, bro, like, come through. Like, let's work. I'm like, okay, sure. And I show him what I had. He's like, no, that's your sound. Pointed to not even Ghost Town. Like, not even this record that I've been pushing.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, that's your sound. I'm like, really? I guess, whatever. It wasn't me rapping. It was me kind of like doing more harmonizing type shit. And he's like, when you go to the studio, like, call me. I'll come through. I'm like, all right, cool. Let him know. He's a busy guy. So it's like he gets there like an hour and a half in the session. Yeah. And he's like, let me hear what you got. And Freddie Buns, the engineer, he plays play and starts out this little that intro is on there. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. And he hears me start rapping. And he just starts like berating me. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you goddamn idiot? I told you not to fucking rap. You're so stupid. And I was just like, and in my mind, but I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper. And then he hears this hook. The hook is actually written as I originally wrote it. Yeah. And then he hears that and he just stops talking. And he just goes, do that. I go, what do you mean? He goes, do that the whole fucking time. Yeah. And I was like, I don't understand what you're talking about because I'm a rapper. And he's like, what's the first line of the song? I said, sick of the liquor is too watered down. And he just goes, sick of the liquor is too watered down. I go, bet. And I just go in the studio and knock the bitch out.
That's awesome, dude.
It's crazy because like we just ended up breaking the whole record down, and we kind of helped me teach me how to really be a songwriter for real as opposed to just being a rapper.
So is that the future? Is that what you're going for? Is that kind of
actually
that feel? Because that video, dude, I'm telling you, we'll get into it and we'll play the song so that people can hear it on the audio podcast. But I mean, it's awesome. Like as soon as I heard the lyrics, I was like, and I want to know kind of a little bit more like detail on like what inspired you to even write that song too.
Oh man, that's fun. So it's actually I dated a girl for like 3 years, as all stories go, and we fell out. I was kind of a fuckhead.
Hey, we all been there.
She like. I always like justified it in my head, like, man, if she would have just forgiven me, I would have kept being a fuckhead, but she never forgave me. So I kept being a fuckhead. So it's like, shit, we eventually fell out for real. I wrote this record, and then we got back together, which is kind of weird. And then I showed it to her, and she's like, "Wow, that's like." She like when I rap in person, it actually sounds really tight. It just never comes out on a record right. So I rapped it to her, sang the hook, and she's like, "This is really, really fucking good." Like she was shocked. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm tight." So
I kind of do this.
Eventually, we broke up for real again, and that was right before I recorded the real version of the song. So it's been kind of like festering. I actually saw her at the club last week with her new man. That's fucked up.
Is he lower class, obviously?
No, he seems like a nice guy. It was weird because
like, that's a very respectful response too. I like that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, fuck him. but I mean, I never actually met the guy, so I'm just like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a real job. I don't, so I get the appeal, I suppose. But yeah, no. So I was basically just kind of inspired by that, and the fact that I just, I mean, I always feel like I've always for years and years felt really alone all the time. I've been in this weird place where I went to Greenwood High School for a lot of my graduated from Greenwood High School, lived in Greenwood for a long time, 2010.
Okay.
Lived in Greenwood for a long time, but I lived in the trailer park, and like my mom actually, like I was in the crib when I was 8 years old, like at the house. When my house got raided.
Oh, shit.
My mom dealt meth. Yeah, shit was real. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane, right?
I mean, like, I'm glad we're getting in on this because this is like people are learning a lot right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I feel like I'm talking a lot, but
no, it's great. That's what it's for. I mean, I appreciate it. That's awesome, and that's not awesome. Like, it's awesome that you're sharing it with us.
Right. But no, so like shit like that happened, and like I've always kind of felt like this weird out of place in Greenwood, being the broke ass poor motherfucker. Like I was selling gum and like candy and shit in middle school, like to help pay for our fucking bills. Like,
that's crazy.
Like obviously it wasn't drugs, but it was like one step away from that type of shit.
Oh yeah, like, I mean that's like the gateway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was fucking.
I got that juicy fruit, bro.
No, deadass. Catch me over here going to Dollar General buying a 4-pack of Bubblicious for $1, flipping them bitches for $1. Swear to God. Like, I flipped Yu-Gi-Oh cards too. I was out here like really getting after it. Like there were days I come home with $80.
Yeah,
shit was dumb. Like, but like no 11-year-old should be having to pay your fucking bills. No. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of fucked up.
Completely agree.
So I kind of just lived this backward ass life where I started acting an ass when I was like 19 or 20 instead of when I was fucking 14.
Right.
And so I've been kind of living backwards, I suppose. And I've always felt this kind of out of place, like alone type shit. And I've been dealing with depression since I was fucking 9.
Yeah, and
so
and what's crazy about that is, I mean, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but like for me, I mean, I kind of really relate to that. We just kind of like I feel like gone a couple of different ways with it, because for me, I've always had that same feeling, but it was mainly because I felt like I didn't actually like associate with a specific group. Like I wasn't like, because I was like trying to like hang out with everybody because I had interests that everybody had, but I didn't ever felt like I got like a best like group of friends. And so instead of like, you know, getting like down deep inside of myself, I completely changed my personality and I created almost like an alter ego. And that's where Juice in the Morning comes from, because my nickname growing up was Juice.
Really?
Because Juice was like the guy that went out partied and like would be drinking vodka straight from the bottle, like doing chugging contests with everybody to see how long you could go, and like counting the 1, 2, 3 and seeing how long you could drink out of a vodka bottle, and like blacking out, having a good time, never ever, you know, any stress or anything like that. But that was like my alter ego. And then, you know, you do that for so long that you start to almost like feel like you are that person. And then like I got to the point where I was like figuring out that my life was kind of shitty, and I had just met my wife at the time, and I like didn't text her for like 2 or 3 weeks because I was like, I need to get my shit together before I like hang out with her again. Like I didn't have a car, I didn't have any money. Like
I remember those days.
Like I didn't have anything. I was just partying all the time, living like right across the street from my job. So I would just walk over to my job and I would just like ask people to pick me up if I needed to go anywhere. And so I did that. And then like now my life's completely different. Like I feel like I honestly get sad now because I can't like do those like crazy days anymore. I miss going out and like somebody saying like, hey, what's the plan tonight? I don't have a plan. We're going out. That's the plan.
Get me out of here.
That's the extent of the plan. We're going to the bar, and then I'm going to meet like 17 different people, and then we might end up at somebody's house. We might end up in like, you know, right next to the canal or something like that, just hanging out. Like it just happens. And I miss those days, but then also at the same time, I like the security of knowing I have a place to sleep, and my wife and I are happily married.
That just sounds dumb, bro. No, but it's funny you bring up like alter egos and shit, because like that's where the name Eddy Blake comes from. Like, have you guys ever seen the movie The Watchmen?
Yes.
The comedian.
That's when I Googled, because I Googled you like right away. And that was like one of the things that came up right away. I was like, oh, okay. Like I see that.
Right. And it's like the whole idea of like knowing like all the shit that's fucked up and like becoming a parody of that until you actually become that. It's kind of what I have lived in my fucking life, to be honest. Like I was out here being like, no, I'm a sober kid, bro. My dad's an alcoholic. My mom does crack. I can't do this shit. It's to tear me apart. Now I'm out here doing coke in the middle of fucking bars. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like I've gone so far, like just to fall and be like, fuck it, bro. We all gonna die, right? Like,
hey, dude, I'm not like this. That's kind of like a joke, but not really. Like I'm always like, because I'm like in the middle of quitting smoking and like cigarettes, and my wife's like every time I smoke, she gives me that like, oh, you know, you're lying to me all the time.
You goddamn piece of shit.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Like, let me live my life and enjoy it a little. Like I'm bumming a cigarette from my friend. It's not like I bought a pack and I'm smoking a pack a day. But no, how did you get involved in music then?
Well, I've always like been I started as a rapper. I've always been infatuated with hip hop. Like the first 2 CDs I ever bought with my own money, that like weren't my mom buying me the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC CDs, which are fire. By the way.
Oh yeah, they're still great. Like, there's no arguing it.
No, the first CDs I ever bought with my own money were Outkast, Stankonia, Ludacris, Word of Mouth, and Murphy Lee's Murphy's Law.
That actually was a great, like a couple of great songs on there.
Oh, they were bangers.
Yeah, yes, there was. So that's like real quick, like not to interrupt you, but real quick, what was the first album that you bought, Johnny?
Oh shit, that's a good question.
Ooh, I didn't hear this.
I don't know. You'd have to get
so okay. So I'll tell you guys mine, because I do know. I've probably talked about this on the podcast before. I was big into movie soundtracks.
Okay.
Because movie soundtracks back in the day did not have parental advisory stickers on them. So like my mom would like tell me I couldn't buy anything that had a parental advisory sticker.
Old, bro.
So what I would do is I would buy the album that was the movie soundtrack. Like for example, one of the very first one I bought was the Waterboy soundtrack. It's got some great jams on it. It's a very, very good, but it's like a lot of Southern rock, like because of it being like based in like Louisiana or Baton Rouge or whatever. But then my second one was Godzilla soundtrack.
That's actually has a bunch of bangers.
Dude, it's got a lot of good songs. And the thing is like I listened to that and knew about that and like loved the guitar riff from the P. Diddy song before I even knew who Led Zeppelin was. Like I didn't even, like I was like like when I heard that song by Led Zeppelin the first time, I was like, dude, that's a really good like P. Diddy song. Like where is this coming from? And they're like, wow. And then I got my music education as I grew up. But yeah, that was I always did soundtracks, and it was Waterboy and I want to say Godzilla. Those two were like kind of the first few that I bought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, soundtracks were like mixed CDs. Like
that's why I loved them, because you'd get an album of somebody and you'd like maybe 2 or 3 songs, and then you'd just be done with it. Right. You'd be like, whatever.
See, I remember the days where I used to tape the radio.
Oh, dude, I did that. I did that. Mickey Ficky mix, dude. Yeah. I used to do that all the time because what I would do is I would tape the Mickey Ficky mix from like 9 to like 10 or whatever on my tape, and then I would go through each song and then try to find the song on LimeWire and download the
computer age.
And then every song is
I remember now the first album I ever bought with my own money was Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water.
I'm looking at you right now. I'm like, yeah, it was.
It was, dude. Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park and shit. I was that
jam out
kid,
to some
like,
of that.
Everybody,
yeah, bro.
And then I would say like, you know, the first band that I really listened to hardcore was Third Eye Blind. Third Eye Blind is my favorite of all time.
You go so hard, bro.
I love it. I love it.
I do too. I I can't really remember any of their songs though, but I know who
you're a freak.
Off the top of
They have hit records.
They have.
I wish you would step back from.
Oh, that's
my
them.
friend.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I saved so many children of that soundtrack playing in my head. I'm serious. I took a bullet the other day. I didn't have to save that child, but I took that bullet.
So you were in the middle of. I was asking like what your inspirations were, and you were telling me the albums that you got. So who's some of the inspirations that like kind of influenced you as a musician or rapper?
Up, low key. So Andre 3000. I mentioned Outkast.
Yep.
Kid Cudi was very important to me. Man, that man dead ass saved my life at one point.
Really, too, actually.
Yeah. Then who else? Probably Lupe Fiasco. Just
Kick Push is one of my buddy's like favorite albums of all time. I'm pretty sure he has like lyrics tattooed on him from.
I'm not surprised. Like Kick Push is one of the greatest rap songs ever made because there's so many layers to it. But that whole album, the first two albums, Lupe was supposed to be the best rapper of all time. He disappointed. It's fine. It's fine.
He disappointed.
I'm talking shit. I can't wait till somebody talks shit about me on a podcast one day. Like, goddamn, like that.
Well, we're actually hoping that happens. Like that you get big enough that somebody just is like, fuck that guy, and then I can be like, yeah, he was on my podcast. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Big facts. Like, fuck that guy. He sounds like he's got a bubble stuck in his throat the whole time. Okay. And actually, probably Young Thug is really a big recent one, and that's really because I growing up I had a little big speech impediment. I still kind of run my words together and mumble sometimes, and even in my music sometimes people are like, oh, I can't understand all the things you're saying, and at first I was really worried about that, and then I started listening to Young Thug more and more. I'm like, bitch, good. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's for me. Fuck off. You can't understand half the shit Young Thug says, and it's still amazing.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
Yeah.
And then actually probably One Direction, which sounds insane.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that tweet. I actually wrote that note down because I saw your tweet that said One Direction fucks, and I was like,
does fuck, bro. But no, it's from a songwriting standpoint. You think about they've got some of the best songwriters in the world working for them.
Yeah.
So I literally study people. I've studied people like that over the past 3 or 4 years. And actually, my boy, his name's Travis. He's produced for Jack and Jack and some other people who are. That's probably the biggest act he's produced for, but a couple other rappers and things like that. He actually put me on to One Direction, their second album, back in 2012 or whatever it was. He was like, bro, you gotta peep this album. I'm like, bro, no. That dumbass beautiful song that's not even that tight. No. And then their second album is all amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
no, I'm gonna look them up now. I'm gonna look. Since you said it, I'm gonna look it up, and I'm probably gonna be a fan.
I'm not gonna admit that publicly.
If you like pop music, which there's no reason you shouldn't, because it's literally
made for
you're scientifically proven to your brain loves it. Just get over it.
Yeah.
You'll love it. It's
Party in the USA, Miley Cyrus.
Love to Mbop. That was our favorite thing.
Honestly, I can see the rhythm getting nice little stroke game on. Right? Yeah. And on the bops, you're actually bop, bitch. Bop this dick. On some dumb shit. But yeah, so I study people like that, and because otherwise, I would not understand progression and song structures. I never took any real music classes ever.
Right.
I was in choir in fucking middle school, and that's it. I didn't really learn shit. We just sang stuff. You know? So that's a big one. Also, Lil Aaron, low key, that man.
Who's that? I have not heard that.
Lil Aaron is a dude who he's actually from Goshen, Indiana.
Oh wow.
So he's from close to here. He's worked with Black Bear, Liam Payne from One Direction. He wrote a song for Jeremiah. A bunch of people, and he's got his own stuff too. But Kiara also. But he literally just writes all these hit records, and he started out writing. He started writing, and then he moved to LA. He said, I'm going to write at least three songs a day, which is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And literally, he wrote 3 to 10 songs every fucking day for a year.
That's crazy.
And just eventually understood the science behind it all and just got it popping.
Well, they always say that 10,000 hours thing to be a professional at something or to be the expert on something, you got to do 10,000 hours of it. And I'm not even close with the podcast, so we're getting
My
there.
right hand is a professional.
How's the left hand then? Still amateur?
I've got a 4,000.
He's on the JV team. So thoughts on current music then, because Eminem came out with his new album that we spent a lot of time talking about, because I liked it a lot. The thing is that I think the reason that it resonates with me is because it seems like a lot of stuff he's talking about is like he's like growing up with me, almost like if you've like his first albums, we were crazy. We were like, I was a crazy younger like teenager kid, like hating and like hating everything, and then like he got all that fame. He got very popular. He started releasing more poppy songs, and then that was like the same time as me, like my whole life changing of like, oh yeah, I want everybody to love me. I want to be the center of attention. Oh yeah, juice. And then like now like he's disappeared for a while. Now he's back and he's like talking about how he hates like what's going on with like other people, and it's like it's the same for me as I get older. Like I start to. But then that's when you start to realize that like age does like affect how you look at people younger than you or like current music or something like that, because he's talking smack about a lot of like current music, and I'm like, yeah, he's fucking right. That's trash. That's bullshit. Like, fuck that. Like, get real rap back and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I want bars. That's called motherfucking bars. You don't know nothing about that.
And then the whole MGK thing and Eminem, like that blew up. And honestly, in my opinion, that's good for both of them. Like that's good for music, because when it's my theory. It's like my Madden theory. Madden has no other competition, so it like never ever really gets better. Yes. Like it's just kind of like it like very very incrementally maybe gets better. Right. But when you have competition and people going at each other, as long as they're not killing each other like Tupac and Biggie, like as long as they're not killing each other, then just keep going at each other. It just makes it better.
Tupac was killed by Suge Knight. What are you talking about?
That's right. And then, Eminem, Lil Wayne. Who else is like... Kanye was supposed to release something, but you just told me he didn't. So,
yeah.
So what do you think about current music? Like, because I honestly, your sound in the video that like we're gonna play that actually like here in about, let's do like a couple minutes, and we'll play that video and play the music. We'll be able to see the video. Listeners won't be able to see the video, but just go to YouTube and look up Ghost Town Eddy Blake. But yeah, so what do you think about current music now?
Well, I think it's in a really good place. In a weird way. I think all of the big rappers have put out a bunch of bullshit this year besides Travis Scott. I think
I need to listen to that one, because I keep posting like, when I hear the new Lil Wayne album or like the Eminem album, I'll post like, this is my favorite song from the album, and I always have some like jackass that's like, dude, you haven't listened to Travis Scott, so
that's real life though. Which I'm also a little biased because I was actually supposed to work on that album, but I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear that.
Basically, I feel like J. Cole's album was like KOD. The title track was okay, was cool, but the rest of it was boring. Drake put out, after getting smacked in the fucking face by Pusha T like a bitch, like his whole first album, half of that album is all like, you don't really want it with the boy type shit, and it's like, what are you talking about? We just watch you get your ass fucking worked. It's rap beat, and you said, oh, I don't want to put out this rap song that totally exists because Jay Prince told me not to, because like I definitely would end a career. Well, motherfucker, if you bought this life, you bought this life. You're not gonna get this rap respect you want without coming out with some problematic bullshit. But then you'll lose some pop fans. So
exactly,
you lost either way. Shouts to Pusha T. He's actually the only other motherfucker who hasn't put out bullshit this year.
Yeah.
So like Drake put out kind of bullshit. The second half was okay. It was cool. Lil Wayne, I thought it started off really strong. The first couple of records were really good.
my favorite one that I want to play for Jonny, because he hasn't heard it yet, is Uproar. Uproar, dude. Really? It just gets me hype. Yeah. It's like a song that I would listen to in the gym, like my gym playlist. Definitely. I want to listen to that.
Definitely.
And then I want to say, what was I don't know. If you listed them, I probably would say if I liked them or not. But the first, I think the number two, like, because the first song's an intro, right? So then the very second song I liked a lot too.
That was very good. I think the album started strong. I think it just kind of went downhill with a couple.
He gets in like to a couple of songs where it's the to me a hacky way of doing it, where he just says the N-word at the end of every sentence.
Well, you gotta like recognize the word he says before the
right,
because that's actually what
they're rhyming with.
That's what the rhyme scheme is. So like,
because it just to me that just gets like it's like that. I feel like it almost feels weak. Like you're just like I just keep hearing the same thing over and over.
Right.
So
you feel left out.
kind of, honestly. But no, it just to me it just seems like I don't know, just a way of doing something differently, I guess, or whatever.
No, I feel you. I was giving you a hard time. But no, I feel like it's in terms of like the number one guys, like because Kendrick didn't put anything out this year, so you're looking at Drake, J. Cole, Kanye, which everything. Kids See Ghost was pretty good, not great, but was pretty good. Ye had a great intro, and like that was it. Like, so Kanye's put out kind of bullshit this year. Nas was boring this year.
Right.
After Life Was Good was really, really good when it came out a few years ago. So like all these top tier rappers just put out bullshit. Then you guys got like Trippie Redd and Kyle who put out amazing albums, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
like,
and
like, what?
Yeah, and then the other thing, the thing I posted is all these guys from like our heyday of music that we liked when we were younger are putting this stuff out. I was like, "Where's Ludacris? I want some Ludacris back, dude. I love Ludacris."
T.I.'s supposed to be dropping something soon.
I heard that as well. I heard that as well. Because
you can't speak so casually when you talk about T.I.
Yeah.
Use your SAT words, bro.
Because Paul from Pointless Discussions, a podcast in Cincinnati, Ohio, he and I are pretty good friends, and he was like, T.I., what was the T.I. one of the most recent albums?
Oh man.
Anyways,
has he put anything out in the last?
Basically, whatever his like album was, like when Paul was in college, he was like, that album got me through college. He was like, it was a great album. So he's a big fan of T.I. I always said T.I. was kind of like, I liked him, but he wasn't like the top of the charts for
Trap
me.
music was that fucking shit.
Indeed.
And King was that shit. T.I. was that shit. Paper Trail was a
forgot,
very underrated album.
You're like naming man, like all the stuff that was really good.
Only like bro, like I'm the Rubber Band Man, Wild as Taliban, down on my right, 45 on the other hand, bro. It slaps all day. Like,
yes, it does,
man.
That's awesome. And so like, do you think we're headed in the right direction with music nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think it's very hypocritical of anyone to say we're going in the wrong direction because everyone always says we're going in the wrong direction. Right. That shit.
Right.
Everyone always wants to be like, well, when I was 17,
listen to Limp Bizkit.
Hey, why are you looking at me when you say that, man? Fuck y'all.
You brought that motherfucker out. No, it was you. Like,
I did it all for the nookie though.
But everyone always says that shit, and it's like realistically, like I never fucked with like XXXTentacion or whatever, like, but everyone. Like,
so you saying that's the first time I think I've ever heard it pronounced, because I'm always reading it and I'm like, extension.
See, that's how I always read it too. Thank you, sir.
I'm glad that you said it though, because now I've learned something you learn something every day.
I can't wait for someone to respond to this. Man, he fucked up saying it too. That's probably what's gonna happen. That's fine. But no, like him, he was incredibly impactful to like. I have a cousin who's 17. That's a big fucking deal for him. You know what I'm saying? Like when he died, which is it sucks because apparently he was just now getting his shit together and being less of a terrible person. So it's like, oh. Of course, you die before redemption. That sucks to be you.
Yeah, it's a rough spot. It's a rough spot to be in, man. Like, especially if he was like in his way up, and there's all those like conspiracy theorists out there too. So I want to get your thoughts on that too.
Conspiracy theorists are the same motherfuckers who were saying Bill Cosby only got locked up because he was trying to buy NBC when he's only worth like $250 million, and NBC's worth like $4 billion.
No way.
Math is math, bro. Like that's the one thing you can't conspiracy theorize your way the fuck out of. Like it's numbers, B. God, like go back to talking about how like Bush did 9/11 or some shit. 'Cause that actually has a little bit of weight compared to that shit. Like,
it actually has a little bit of weight to it. Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
But like, man, but no, and also Mac Miller put on an amazing album. Rest in peace. I actually did a memorial show for him like, a few weeks ago, and that was really cool to see people. It was
surprising to me how many people that I was close friends with that didn't really like remember Mac Miller when he like died. I was like, dude, we used to listen to that on repeat like in college. Like we were listening to it all the time, and people were like, I don't remember Mac Miller. And I was like, you're an idiot. Get out of here.
Because he literally was 10 days older than me.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, with me just being kind of like me dealing with depression and shit like that, and like whenever somebody dies due to an overdose or suicide, it kind of fucks me up. And, like, this whole like, am I gonna be next thing that comes in the back of my mind? And him being 10 days older than me, like literally he was exactly 10 days older than me, and it was like, I almost in my mind I was like, I have 10 days left. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I don't know
Jesus,
which is fucked up. But it's like I just that's what happens. Like I don't understand why I'm. Like
but I mean,
this,
you're a deep thinker. We're all deep thinkers here.
But it's been more than 10 days, so I'm still here. Which is nice. So I think I'll be all right for another few days.
At least. Yeah. I mean, one of those things that I think I've been really excited about is seeing people that are like chasing after something and doing something that, you know, most of us aren't doing. Like the podcast, this is something that like I wish I could do full time. I've worked myself into, I would say, like middle to upper middle class. So like now I can't just quit my job and do this because we have too many things that count on my income. But if I could, I would in a heartbeat just like drop everything and do this.
Sell ads, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying, dude. Trying.
Get Wingstop as a sponsor.
We need to.
Shouts to Wingstop, by the way. Run me my check because I need some Wingstop right now. Fat boy need a 10-piece.
And
well played.
And Jonny is I'm having him take the reins because he mentioned Gents Barbershop last week, and they messaged me on Facebook right away and said thanks for the shout out. They must listen to the podcast
Did they
too.
really?
Yeah, so I told him I was gonna have Jonny take the lead on doing some like kind of advertising deal with them. And I want to build for the podcast personally. I want to build something local. Like I want people that are local businesses to like sponsor us, and we'll like work out a deal with them so that, you know, it's only if you get business from us. Like you're not going to give me money and then you not see a return on it. So the flip side of that, I want me to send people there. They say they heard about it on this, and then they give us like, you know, 10% of whatever that is or something like that. That's what I want to work out. I need to get like somebody that's a lawyer or something to figure out like how to actually have agreements, because how am I going to track if somebody like goes
lawyer.com, bro? What you talking about? Shout to them, by the way. Run the check.
But what I want to do real quick is I want to play your song, if you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
Play your song for the audio listeners, and then we can watch the video.
Oh, for sure. And by the way, everyone, Eddy Blake is spelled with a Y. Just so everyone wants to know.
Oh yeah, EDDY.
All right.
Make it full screen.
For the listeners, for sure.
Yes.
Where's that at?
Yeah.
It was actually shot at the Vogue, Shallows in Greenwood, and at my boy Wild Sal's house. Shout out to Wild Sal.
So fucking awesome.
That's dope as fuck line, by the way.
I apologize for not being as sweaty as I am in the video.
Well, I can already tell this room's getting hot too, so fuck. I thought it was better than the other one.
It still is.
That part hits me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go home sometimes. Goosebumps, dude. Not to be weird.
Hey, no, it's incredibly. I'm incredibly grateful. Like, crazy is that Shot with the Lights we found by accident.
Really?
Really?
It's badass, dude. I like as soon as this is over, I've got like tons of questions. So yeah. So who? First of all, who produced the video? Like who did that? Yeah.
His name, the person I connected with was Landry Long. What actually happened is, which if you guys want to hear another song, we could definitely go into it. But it's a song I wrote for an artist I'm currently developing named Lo Vibez. He's somebody I went to high school with, and he always kind of wanted to do the music thing, but he never really had the resources. And I was like, I started writing this record one day, and I was like, this is a pop song. My whole shit's about wanting to kill myself, getting fucked up all the time. I can't sing a pop song. No one will take this seriously. And then I saw Lo Vibez pull up my Instagram one day. I'm like, text my boy. I'm like, hey, do you still want to do this music thing or no? He goes, wait, yeah, I've been like, just haven't had the resources. I'm like,
right.
All right, I have a record for you. He goes, what? What do you do next week? And we pulled up, cooked this record up.
Let's look that. Is it on here?
Yeah,
let's look it up.
Actually, we found it on there last night because someone was asking me about it last night.
No, that's fucking. Dude, but like I said, like that's why, like seeing the quality of that video and like the quality of your sound, like. I was just like, I did not think that was somebody that was like right down the road from me. Like, you know, like I was just surprised. And I'm sure there are people doing stuff in Indiana like that. I haven't seen it.
I mean, not to gas myself up here, but a handful of people who are really connected in with the local scene have said it's the best music video they've ever seen out of that.
Dude, I mean.
Which I think it's the second best. Shouts to Baby Ebony in his video Euphoria. It's incredible. But I would say this is probably second best.
That was so. I mean, it's just good. And like I said, like I'm not bullshitting you when I say I get goosebumps, because I feel like it's actually been scientifically proven that some people have that way to hear stuff, and when you like get goosebumps, that means you're hearing it on like a different level than people that
really
listen to music their whole life and don't ever have that feeling. So then that means that I think that, I don't know, my whole, like, the science that I listened to or read about isn't exactly my theory. My theory is when I listen to something and the hair on the back of my neck stands up and I get goosebumps, I know that it's... Oh, go ahead.
With the Z. What? With the Z.
Oh.
But, no, you're fine. But yeah, like when I'm listening to something, and my theory is when I can like get goosebumps or the hair on the back of my neck stands up... It's a lot of the times when I'm listening to it with other people, and I know, like in my opinion, I know that other people like this, and like I know that's weird, but like even when I played Uproar for like my friends when we were driving to the casino last night, and like
standby, dude.
Hey, you told me you were busy, so and it sucked because I lost $40 in about a minute, like literally 1 minute. I put in $20, lost twice. Put in another $20, lost twice. I was done.
I'm a gambling
addict, dude. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna put any more money into this fucking machine. But anyway, so like listen to music though. I think that you can tell when something is going to be liked by a lot of people. At least in my opinion, that's what I feel. That's what I feel about that song that I just happened to stumble across, and then we get to talk to you in person. Like I'm just like I'm over. Like I'm like kind of blown away by it right now. Like it's just kind of cool. And the fact is that you released that on YouTube 4 days ago. It's got like 1,200 views, and like I think it's just going to keep going up because I see people sharing it, and like because I follow you on Facebook now, and I see people sharing it, liking it, commenting on it. So have you had any like negative comments at all?
Yeah, someone commented, because obviously I'm running ads on Instagram. I just kicked in yesterday, and someone commented, what happened to your voice?
Like why?
And the thing is, I clicked on it and I was like, oh, this guy's in a band. Maybe he wants to know what kind of plugins like I use on the I was like, it's like 90% chance of being an asshole. 10% he's just socially inept and like just really wants to know. So I DM him like, hey, I'm pretty sure he's being an asshole, but if you're not and you want to know what plugins I use, like to kind of just create this extra, like my voice is drainy as it is, but like to make it extra draining, like let me know. And he goes, it sounds like you have a dick in your mouth.
Dude, I honestly can't. I hope that my show gets big enough that people will be an asshole. Just because I've had like a couple like here and there, but it was like always, it was more like social media related. Because I used to just like retweet and tweet and like just everything that other people said, and somebody following me was like, dude, you're just like an echo chamber for a bunch of other people, and it got me really pissed off. But then I like kind of looked at it, I was like, yeah, like he's kind of right. Like I got really mad and had a whole episode based off of like talking shit about this guy, and then I realized like and then I was like, oh, he's actually right about this. But I mean, no matter what, you're gonna have people that don't like the thing that you do. But then, you know, I think, like I said, dude, I'm excited because I feel like we're on the ground floor, and I think that you're gonna get I think you're going to get really big, and I think I want you to just keep us in mind, man.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Shouts to Juice in the Morning forever.
Because like I said, Juice in the Morning is like, whenever we have a guest on, especially somebody that I think has the talent that you have, you're instantly like, you already have like 1, 2, like I know that we have listeners, but in the room, you'll have like 4 guaranteed people that are always going to promote your stuff and always going to like, share, do all that stuff, because I feel like we try to build that like loyal, like, you know, friendship with people that we have on the show. And we've done it with multiple podcasts that have been on here. I've been on other podcasts, and you know, we're trying to build that like community that, you know, supports each other, because we're all doing something. We're all creating something that we hope is going to eventually lead us to not have to do the jobs we hate. Right. At least in my position, I want to get away from the job I hate.
Why do you think I'm holding on to those coattails, bro?
But so what's this? This is Hideout Lo Vibez.
Yeah. So what happened is I wrote this record, brought it to my guy, and me and my guy kind of changed it a little bit. We cooked it up together. And like, this is his debut song. This is the first song he's ever like really made since like we were in high school, and it's a pop record, so I want to play this because this is the reason why I met the guy who did the video. Okay. So you'll run this really quick. It's a pop song, so we're gonna just get down.
Yeah, and it's 2:54. Which, how do you feel? Oh, turn it down.
This is not the song, guys. This is not the song.
No, you're okay. I got it. I turned it down. We always have ads. Like, that's why I always pull them up before we start the video, but I didn't do that with this one.
I pulled a Joe Dirt. I'm new.
And Johnny's new. Johnny's new. He's like, this used to be controlled by me as everything was, and I'm trying to hand over more responsibilities.
I dig this already.
Oh, yeah.
Rank that motherfucker, bro.
And what we could do tonight, it crossed my mind. See us losing, top off, we cruising. Baby girl, I'm choosing you. I'm choosing you. Let's see this bar and go somewhere that we can get close. Cause when the chips are down, I say that we should bet more. And when we ride out, baby, you gon' find out. The reason that we met tonight is we can find a hideout.
I like the picture too, because that reminds me of like my time when I was driving around like in the cornfields.
Right. Like, I wanted to keep it like really true to like what we have here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very big in the city, and just like,
dude, Indiana's not a bad place, dude. It's awesome.
Well, Indiana sucks. Indianapolis is dope. Like, Nap is the fucking greatest city in the world.
I agree.
Let's see the spot and go somewhere that we can get close. Cause when the chips are down, I say that we should bet more.
All I'm saying, man, the stuff that you guys are doing, whoever you're working with, you guys have very clean and great looking visuals on top of the music. Like, it just looks sharp. Like, it looks like what you want it to look like.
Actually, it's funny. I actually did this cover.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
I shot and everything. I didn't have my camera. Like, it was a backup camera. It was just like worked out.
I'ma show you how I do. Let's ditch the spot and make a move. Yeah. You want me, girl? I want you too. I'ma show you how I do. Let's ditch the spot and make a move. Yeah.
I was really upset we didn't get to do a music video for this, just because the timing didn't work out. Because it's a very summer record.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna have this big ass dance breakdown here. I was like, that was gonna be crazy, and it just never got to it. I was like upset about it, but yeah.
The way we moving, we ain't losing no more. No.
This part's hard.
No. We ain't losing no more. I'm choosing you.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Like I said, I'm very impressed, and I want to keep this as like a continuing relationship. Like I want to be able to like have you guys in and like do this kind of thing, because it's awesome, and it's cool to be around people that are doing stuff well. You know, because
it's okay to be here.
Because I've been around some people that are not doing their thing so well, but I still like them a lot.
Right? No, absolutely. That's the struggle in general. I feel like being in an arena that's creatively driven. Like there's so many people who want to do this shit who aren't built to this.
I actually wanted to ask that about when I asked you about like current music. Like, how do you feel about the fact that almost anybody with a MacBook and a microphone can like make a song? Do you think that takes away from that?
It's interesting because I think Soulja Boy is actually
somewhere.
I think Soulja Boy is the most influential entertainer of our entire lifetime. I'll be honest. He's the first motherfucker to blow off.
That's a bold statement.
Well, think about it.
Bold move, Cotton.
We'll watch.
I'm ready to hear. I'm ready to hear.
So think about like who was the first artist who blew up off of YouTube? Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
Who was the one who showed you it doesn't fucking matter what you have? He had Fruity Loops, no keyboard, and fucking was recording on his built-in mic, and he created Ya Bitch Ya, which is a fucking hit.
That's crazy. I didn't know that he was doing that off of his computer microphone.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounded like shit.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it was a computer microphone. I know for a fact.
And I downloaded so many of those songs.
Oh my god, absolutely we did. But so he's the first person who showed you that it was possible. Like he made so much ringtone money. Shouts to ringtone money. Any ringtones out there right now?
Does anybody even use ringtones anymore?
I actually was around someone who had one like 2 weeks ago, and I just go, "What the fuck? Is that a Motorola?"
Are you time traveling right now?
Welcome to 2018, bro. We keep our shit on vibrate
all day. Do not disturb for life. But no. So I think it's really important that because like without that, we wouldn't have people who impacted people like we talked about XXX earlier. Like he one of his biggest records that Scott Rowland would sound like shit because he just did it himself, but it was a great song, so people latched onto it. So I think it's really important, but also it creates a lane for motherfuckers who are generally just not talented, which is unfortunate. But like, and the thing is, people also underestimate like how long it takes to actually not suck at something. Like everyone, unless you're fucking like, no, actually not even unless you're anybody. Like everything you make sucks at first. Everything.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I've been made fun of by the Smugcast quite a few times about my first few episodes, but that's because I just did things differently than them. I got the equipment and I just did it. I just started doing it, and they did it the right way. They practiced a few times before they actually ever released something. And I'm not that way. I'm not a practicer. I'm a doer. Like I gotta like just do it. Like I did stand up one time, and it was like a part of a bucket list thing, and we had been talking about it with Smugcast, and like I like wrote some stuff out. And then like on the way there, I just threw it out the window. I was like, nope, not doing that. I'm just going to go up there and tell a story that I've told 1,000 times because it's going to feel a lot more comfortable for me. And I know the beats of it, and I think it's going to be funny. And I got a few laughs. So like it was a very good feeling. It's not something I'm going to continue to do. I'm not to me, the stress and the way I felt going up in front of people to make them laugh. Like, I don't think I would have a problem doing like a live podcast or like going up in front of people and like doing something different. But if I feel like I have to make them laugh, I get stressed out. And I don't think that the laughs didn't give me that that feeling that everybody like talks about that is like, dude, it just hooked me. Like it was like a drug. Like I got hooked on it. That wasn't the way for me. It was like, that was good. I liked that. That was fun. But I don't ever want to fucking do it again. Don't really care.
Thanks for the funky time. Don't ever call me again.
No, I feel that. Like I actually thought about getting to stand up for a minute as well. I wrote a bit that like a handful of people who would tell me, oh, this is not funny or this fucking sucks. They loved it, but it was super dark. Like we're talking about, it starts out like,
and it's hard to start. Like, I've heard from comedians, it's hard to start if you're going dark right away because you have because a lot of stand-up comedians, like if you look at old stuff by who is it? There's a couple guys out there that like are darker now, but if you look at their like very first stuff, it was like, hey, how's it going tonight, everybody? Can we get a round of applause for that last comedian? And then like they tell just like cheesy kind of jokes, but then as they like got more comfortable and more okay with like the scene, they were able to like dive deep into the like darker spots because you have to have the crowd on your side. Mm-hmm. So like if you're going dark right away at an open mic, it's tough because open mics, like when we, like for example, I didn't go this week, but the Smugcast guy BJ went up, and BJ said that he had to follow a racist woman in a wheelchair. Like that was, and she was doing very racist jokes, and she was in a wheelchair, and he had to follow that.
Oh, I would have been rolling the whole time.
and he said it was hard to follow because like everybody was kind of like in a weird mood when he got up on stage, and it just. But I always suggest that if you are going to try a stand-up like a open mic, you got to go to Anderson where we went, Kettle Top Brew House. Great crowd, like almost 99% of the time, unless you got to follow a racist white chick in a wheelchair. Like, I mean, that might be difficult. But
just punch the white girl in a wheelchair. Who gives a fuck? That's definitely like
roll her off the stage, like forward.
Like, I feel like you're gonna like, I'll roll you off the stage for you, and then just dump her. Like,
that's a good move. I like that. I think I should have told man. BJ
I'm still
and I need
proud
to
of my
talk.
aunt for trying to stand up.
Next time there's a very specific situation, racist white woman talking shit at an open mic. That's what you do. But no, it's like I wanted to get into it, but like it started out like the bit I wrote was like I actually stole a little bit from my friend, and then kind of like in order to make it less heavy at first, and then kind of dive into it later. It starts out like, oh hey, the experience as a straight dude at the gay bar. It's amazing. Gay bars are great, whatever. And there's jokes. And then I say some shit like, oh, I wasn't always hanging out at gay bars. And I go into a bit about me getting molested when I was 5. So it gets really bad. But it's fucking hilarious. But, you know.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but that actually might work, though, because you'd get them on your side, and then you get to the point where it's like, oh, but then you hit them with the punchline, and then they got to laugh. Right. Because you have to. Like, I mean, but I'm also, like, I've always said, like, I'm a good person to have in the crowd too, because I laugh at everything. Like I'm really easy to laugh at almost anything.
John, you just enjoy your life, man. I'm so proud of you,
dude. It's all a facade. Trust me.
Big mood.
But Jonny also wants to try stand up, and I tell him all the time he just needs to go up there on a Wednesday night to Kettle Top Brew House. They need to write me a check. Yeah. Let's do it.
Run that. But let me get back to the reason we played Hideout. It's because I wrote this song, and it only has 27 views on this YouTube channel, which we didn't put it up here. Some random motherfucker put it up here, which is really tight. But it's got like 5,000 streams between Apple Music and Spotify. On
and I saw that your song's on Apple Music. I downloaded it right away. You're on all the streaming services as well, and this one you said it's on Spotify and all that stuff as well.
It's on there as well.
How do you like the streaming services?
It's cool. I'm actually really excited about Ghost Town because I'm using a different distributor who actually it's a new startup run by the former CEO of Interscope, which is dope.
That's fucking cool.
I
think you're making the right moves, man.
It's crazy. This is actually
now doing the Juice in the Morning podcast may not be the right move.
Is everyone out there like terrible as the people in this room? Because that might be the case. No, I'm kidding. I love you. Please buy all my music. I love you guys. Are great. But no, it's crazy because this is actually the record that opened a lot of doors for me. It's not even my song, which is insane. Like, so I cooked it up for Lo. We did it, released it, whatever. It got 18,000 plays on SoundCloud. About 5,000 between Spotify and Apple Music. And then obviously, apparently 27 from this video.
Hey, we just added another one. So
let's go. But like an A&R from that Start Out reached out to us, which is a distribution company that only takes certain artists right now, which is nice. And I kind of weaseled my way in there. And Lo's going to be releasing with them soon too. And also Landry Long, he actually is the person who directed Ghost Town, heard this song. I kind of quasi-manage Lo Vibez, and so like Landry hit up Lo, and Lo sent him my way. I'm like, yeah, so like what's good, blah blah. I happen to be the guy who does all the video stuff for Mark Battles.
Okay.
Who, if you guys know him, he's probably the biggest rapper out of Nap right now.
I've heard the name. I don't know though.
Yeah, he's signed to QC, like quality control.
Yeah.
It's like a kind of a low key thing because he doesn't really do the same shit as a lot of those guys do. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like tangential, I suppose.
Yeah.
So he reached out. He's like, yo, like this is amazing, blah blah blah. Also, we have this song that we're gonna have with Mark that I produced. I'm talking about Landry. I'd love for Lo to be on it. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, let's work something out. Like, let me get a video, like, or a discount on a video or whatever, because this shit's beautiful. And he's like, yeah, for sure. So he hit me up. He sent me the record. Me and Lo went out to Dayton. Shouts to Smart Boy Studios and Raise the Bar Studios over there. My boy Ash Matthews. We cooked it up, and it was awesome. And
How did you build all these connections, dude? Like, is it just like random?
No, that's fucking with me.
It's
Like,
honestly,
not fucking
it's
with it.
the internet. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the internet.
And
It's
that's
so
the beauty of the
powerful.
internet.
It's incredible. Like literally on some Facebook shit, I saw Ash Matthews do this Music Review Monday show where he talks about music. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I sent him a record. He was like, oh, it's pretty good. Yeah, blah blah. I'm like, cool, whatever. Like, let me come out there and criticize motherfuckers. I'm not gonna hold it back. Like, and not to be an asshole, but like, I understand the science behind, because the science behind making music a lot of times, and people don't realize how much science is actually on.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's half art, it's half science.
Yeah.
But and so we kind of just connected from there. We've got a big project.
It's kind of like a Bar Rescue. Have you ever watched that show?
Yes.
With John Taffer?
Damn.
It's a science.
It really is. But,
No, I completely, like, I don't know why I thought that. I'm sorry.
it's funny. It's funny.
Very good analogy, I thought.
It really
So,
is. That's great. But then we kind of just linked from there. We have something cooking right now, which is going to be really dope. If we ever get around to it, both of our schedules suck, so
Right.
it's hard. But
So do you do music and stuff like this full time? Do you have any other other stuff that you got going
actually, for the past year and a half, I've been selling shoes full time, and I recently, I lost a lot of money. The past like 6 months or so I had to get a part-time job.
on? Okay.
Sucks ass.
Hey, that happens. That happens to the best of us.
But and it sucks because like I put a lot of faith in this trip too. I took a trip to LA in April, which is where I lost a lot of this bag, because I was out there. Shouts to Luxury Tax 50. He's actually about to get locked up, which sucks ass, on a gun charge. He's the homie who actually like linked me with some of these people out there in LA. And I was like, I pitched records for Travis Scott's new album.
Yeah. I want to hear about that, because we mentioned it earlier.
Like I didn't realize like that's what I was out there for. Like I was like, my boy Amani kind of set it up low key. It's just been a connection type thing. And I get out there, I pull up the studio, and literally like I'm getting fit in between like, hey, I've got to go get Migos their lean, and then I have a court date after that. So like, I have to get you in between here. Like it's insane. Like,
That's ridiculous. Gotta
Like,
get some lean, and then I got a court date to go to.
Can we cut that? Because I feel like I'm snitching right now, which is fucked up. But I don't want to because they're on some blood shit out there, and I'm not really trying to die. So
Right.
like I don't want to can we cut that, please?
Yeah.
But no, like I got fit in between some stuff, and it was just a great experience. I played some records. We kind of worked on some stuff that was kind of just in the studio for a minute, and I'm pissed because if I had known, I literally was kind of like working on a song that was kind of Travis Scott-esque anyway, but I hadn't finished it or recorded it all.
Right.
And if I had known that,
Probably would have got that ready to
I
go.
would have had it ready to go,
Yeah.
and I would have gotten the writer's credit on Astro because it's a fucking hit.
Yeah.
But whatever. So none of the records actually worked on got used. So,
But like, I mean, but you're young enough that's not like an ender for you or anything.
No, but it still like sucks. And then there was another connection out there. I was supposed to meet like this guy who apparently like signed some artist who had like made like one song for like $250,000. And I'm like,
Jesus.
I'm tight as fuck. Like that motherfucker.
Well, I mean, the one the one that you put out,
Right.
that needs to be like, I don't know how music works, but that needs to be like big. Like
I appreciate it.
It needs to be like I'm gonna push it.
I appreciate it. I mean, I'm putting the goal. It only people don't realize this, but only, and I say only tentatively, but like it only costs $60,000 to be a national artist.
Yeah,
like which is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money.
Right.
Like,
I mean, over a period of time, that's like really not that much.
Exactly.
Like that's why when you find out, like, because I'm in like kind of the corporate / medical world, and like it's crazy how like you'll get a raise and you think, oh man, $10,000 fucking dollars, that's a lot of money,
right.
And then you spread that out over a year and you're like, oh, that's not that much
like
money.
it's nice, I guess, but it's like I'm grateful, but like it's not that much.
It's not that much, and it's not that much for the expectations you have from my individual work.
Right.
But no, I think there's a lot going on with music, and I think that having you on here, man, is just so exciting. Like I just love it, and I think that people need to for sure look up Ghost Town Single at Eddy Blake Music on Twitter. If you look him up on Facebook, it's just Eddy Blake, right?
Yeah, it's there is an ad. It's Watch Eddy Blake, because like motherfuckers apparently like stole my shit. So fuck them. Instagram's also Eddy Blake Music. It's Eddie with a Y.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate.
So what's the future look like? What are you working on, or where are you trying to get?
So there's a lot of things in the future.
Yeah, well, I want to hear all of them.
All right. So first of all, let's start with Lo Vibez. Actually,
Yeah.
that's He is a cute light-skinned kid who can sing, so obviously he's the meal ticket. So we're currently working on a series for him. He's very love Will Smith, and he's kind of felt a little out of place some places because he's been, he lived here. He went to Greenwood. He was one of 4 black kids at Greenwood, so it's a little out of place for him here. He went to Lakeland College to play basketball as a JUCO. Then he moved to Ole Miss to get his degree, and now he's back here. And it's kind of like he's always never really felt like he's been in the
So you guys are kind of like kindred spirits too,
kind of,
right?
Yeah. And so we're working on this whole we're working on a series of EPs. It'll be a total of 12 songs, 3 EPs for each. So we're calling it the Fresh Prince Collection. It's we call it the Fresh Prince of Nowhere, the Fresh Prince of Somewhere, and the Fresh Prince of Everywhere.
See, like I just got goosebumps about that. That's like, I think you guys have some good shit going on.
I appreciate it. This is gonna be conceptually. They're very tight conceptually. We're working on some big features right now. Shouts to Timothy DeLaGhetto. If you don't know him, he's the Asian dude from Wild 'N Out. He's actually amazing. We've been internet friends for like 8 years now, which is insane. Literally just because of Twitter. That's all it is. And he's actually going to jump on one of these records once we figure out which one, which is nice, which is incredible. And we're working on some other stuff too among that. But that's kind of like the whole. That's that move.
That's the move.
That's that little arm right there.
Right.
Ghost Town actually was turned down by a major artist who I'm not going to name right now.
Okay.
So
you can tell me off the mic.
Right. And so I've kind of weaseled my way into a baby bit of a connection to kind of hopefully pitch some other records just in general to other major artists. That's just kind of to hopefully get my bag going so I can just quit all this bullshit and just make money on this music.
Dude, that's what I'm so pumped for you to do that because I think that's what I look at. Like I look at people creating stuff and I'm like, dude, you already have a plan. I don't have a plan for this. Like this is just like I'm gonna keep throwing shit at the wall until it sticks.
The thing is, sometimes that's all it takes. Like people don't understand. Like half the shit is luck. Like I can bust my ass, put a bunch of money in this bullshit, and like have a plan, and it can go off the rails, and I can get fucked. Like it doesn't matter. Like I have a plan because if by the time I turn 30, the shit's not popping to where I can do it full time no matter what, I'm gonna go get my ass a job in supply chain. Like that's what it is. Like I'm gonna go get a fucking $40,000 a year job. I want to kill myself. And I probably will.
Right there, man.
Like, I probably will.
Hey, if that happens, we'll just kick it, dude. And we'll have fun and do the podcast.
Like I always like people think I'm joking, but I'm like I know I'm gonna fucking kill myself eventually. It's just like and that's fucked up, but like it's what it is. It's like I'm gonna lose this fucking fight one day. I've been fighting it for 20 years. Like I mean,
so it makes life exciting. It's just knowing that at any moment you can just end it.
Right. I don't know. I'm too scared because
but on some real shit. Like it's just like. I know it sounds fucked up, and this also just goes shout out to anybody who's dealing with depression and just the mental health issues in general. Because I mean, this shit's not a fucking game.
No,
but like, it sounds fucked up. But the thing that gets me through the next day sometimes is just telling myself I won't fucking lose today.
Yeah,
it's maybe tomorrow. Fuck tomorrow. Right now, I'm good.
Yeah,
and it's crazy, but Anyway, that got really heavy.
Well, no, I mean, I'm serious. Like,
dude, I've lived in that world.
The thing is, though, I feel bad because I feel like I've known a lot of people in those situations. I've never been there, so I feel like I can't relate because I love myself way too much, to a point of probably like sociopath, slightly narcissistic,
slightly.
But like I've never felt a crushing like a depression type situation. I've just never felt it.
Right.
And and I've also equated it to the same thing. Like, I've had friends that have lost like people very close to them, close relatives, things like that. Never happened to me. Like because I got like my mom had me when she was super young, so all of my family is still around, barring like unforeseen circumstances. They're probably going to be around for a long time. But the thing is like I will go out on a limb and say like I've thought some like really deep, crazy stuff because I do think about crazy stuff on a regular basis. Like I was in the shower 2 days ago and like just washing my hair and I was like, I don't know why this thought popped in my head, but I was like, dude, barring unforeseen circumstances, you got about 40 or 50 years left. Like, and that feels like a long time, but then what happens then? And I was like, and then I started like pretzeling my brain of like, oh fuck, like, is it just like, cause I always like believe in like, I believe there's like, I want to think that there's something else afterwards because I think I'm so like terrified. Like, cause my thing I've talked about on the podcast before is like, my thing is I don't I don't want to die and not have made any impact at all.
Right.
And I know that there's billions of people. So like, it's very rare that somebody actually makes any kind of impact on the world at all. But that's my biggest fear is like, I didn't do anything. And the thing is the way the world's going right now, I'm kind of right in the middle. So I'm not really making any difference. So
well, I think it's crazy. Is like, I can't remember who said, I think it was Tupac who said, sometimes you don't have to be the one who changes the world. You have to be the person who inspires the change.
I like that.
So it's like, if I don't have to do shit, but if for something I do inspires you to do some shit that actually matters, like, fuck it, I still matter.
I didn't even think about that.
So I mean,
that's great.
Hey, shouts to Tupac, bro.
Dude, I think that you're probably like my top 5 favorite guest right now of all time, and I've done 137 episodes.
I appreciate that. But,
I've done 4, and you're definitely my number one.
yes. But no, I kind of want to go back to what you said about how like you've never experienced some of that shit, and the thing is, like, but you understand that.
Oh yeah,
it's important that like sometimes it's enough to understand that you don't understand.
And I'm trying to be a better person and friend than I was my whole life, because I used to be the person that'd be like, well, fucking stop feeling like that.
Yeah, you're too busy being juice, bro.
Exactly. And recently with friends and like family, I've tried to be more straightforward. Like, instead of just sitting by the wayside and be like, oh yeah, go do what you need to do, feel better, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to, because I've always been like all about myself, and now I'm trying to be more about my friends and family, and like I think it creates a better environment for for us in general. And so like I've been asking people like, so what can we do to like make you feel better, or like what can I do? Is there something I can help you with? Does it take just me hanging out and just being by you and like letting you talk about your thing, as opposed to, like I said, I used to just be like, man, you do you. That's just, I guess I'll call me when you're feeling better. Like, and I'm trying, like I said, I feel like I was so terrible then that I'm trying to be better now. And I think that understanding where people come from is very vital. And even my little sister is telling my mom some like crazy stuff, and I'm saying, if she's listening, like, Allie, listen to this guy, because what you said about like, you're not going to lose today, like, I mean, that's good. Like, do that, Allie.
It's just a complicated way of saying one day at a time.
Yeah.
For every dark
but
night
one day at a time sounds so
day.
fucking corny and cliche that like people don't want to hear that shit, which I don't want to hear it either. So
well, that's what I said, like off the mic, about asking some of the cliche questions to you to interview you. I feel like it opens up those avenues to like talk about other stuff, whereas a lot of podcasts / just interviews they ask that question, then they move on to the next question, instead of just exploring those, like, so your inspirations, and then we talked about like albums that we like loved and stuff like that. So I think it's good. I think that I'm glad I had you on now and not when I was in the beginning of doing podcasts.
I appreciate that. It really does. It sounds dumb as fuck, but I really do appreciate you guys like bringing me out. Like,
dude, I want to stay in touch. I want to be, if you're ever doing anything and you want help, or like, I just like being around stuff that's creative. And so does my friend BJ from the Smugcast. Like, I like to, I think that we're a way better podcast than them, and they always talk shit that they're better than us. But I just want to say that BJ and I have like created a really good friendship, and he just got a new job to where he's more available. So we're going to be trying to create more stuff. I want to do video, like, I want to learn how to do video like that. Like, not necessarily music videos, but like, I mean, my dream is to do a series of videos where me and the Juice in the Morning crew go out and we do stuff we've never done before. So just like for example, archery. Like, I've never shot a compound bow ever in my life.
So awesome, dude.
And what I think would be fun is like, we kind of like make it a competition, because I've always said that I'm pretty good at picking stuff up pretty quickly, but then I get average really fast, and then everybody else everybody else puts in a lot of work, and then they get a lot better than me. So like, because for example, video games like Madden, like every time a new one would come out, I'd kick all my friends' asses, and then then I would kind of hit a plateau, and then everybody'd be pissed that I was beating them, and they would like figure out how to get really good and then just kick my ass. So that's just what happens.
Oh, I have a question though. What's the one thing that, because I have a thing I'm thinking of, like, I'm really good at picking up sports.
Yeah, same.
I'm not a crazy athlete, but I mean, I'm 6'1". I could dunk back when I was like not a fat piece of shit. Like, I was,
same.
whatever. I'm saying whatever. So like,
before I got shot.
But the one,
True story.
That's for real.
the one, damn, I don't even know about that, but no, the one sport I never could pick up and like be good at it all was tennis. Fuck tennis.
Fucking crazy thing about that, my mom sent a box of trophies over to my house because it had been sitting in her attic for a long time. And I was going through them, like pulling stuff out and like remembering like the year and everything. Funny thing, I don't ever remember being on a tennis team, but apparently I was on the first tennis team in like 6th grade.
Damn.
I don't remember that at all.
What a nerd.
All I remember about tennis is playing in gym class.
God.
And like kicking people's ass in gym class. But like I don't remember being.
I bet your dick feels really big right now. I'm over here like, man, I could never pick up tennis. I was first team tennis.
No, dude, there's plenty of other sports that I fucking can't get. I can't get good at. Cornhole is one of them. It's not really a sport. It's more of a pastime.
I'm good at it, so let me say it's a sport.
But it's definitely one that, like, once again, I can get average at, but I can't ever beat the elite players that I play against on a regular basis.
So what's the thing that for some reason you can't pick up? I couldn't pick up tennis. What is the one thing you haven't been able to pick up? I just want to know. This is my podcast now.
Yeah, I'm trying. That's a good question. Let me think about it. So I played. I don't know.
Not necessarily a sport, you know, like you're talking about Madden and shit like that too. Like, I want to know insecurity.
Shooters,
Really?
Video games that are shooting video games.
Yeah.
Every one of my friends have always been better, and it like infuriates me. Like it's like because I am a competitive person, and like we play. It used to be Call of Duty. I don't play that much anymore. But Call of Duty, we'd play that, and like I would be because we'd trade the controller because like you're playing online, you want to do that competition. We'd trade the controller. I'd be watching people like motherfucker, like how are you guys that fast? That like good at it? Whatever.
They're over going 17-4, and you're just getting like killed every time.
Never like run out of a door, and I'm dead.
We're pretty much like, hey Justin, just like crouch right there and chill. We got
exactly.
You're the camping asshole no one likes.
Exactly. I mean that shooter video games I've always been bad at. I will also say cards. I've never been good at cards, like any card game. Like euchre, once again, I'm average. But people talk shit to me on euchre all the time because I'm one of those people that always tries to go for like the big play. Like I'm gonna win this, and then we get beat really bad. Euchre's a very Midwest thing, though.
Euchre's so good.
A lot of people don't know about it outside of the Midwest.
Well, fuck y'all. The Midwest is the best place in the fucking world.
I completely agree, 110%. But I think we're wrapping up. I mean, we hit an hour and 11, and like I said, dude, I told Jonny before you got here, I was like, I think this is going to be a very awesome, easy podcast because when you've got somebody that's involved in this kind of stuff, it's easy for us to ask you questions, and it's easy for you to answer. I feel like, and like kind of get like, but I want to say I appreciate you 100% because you went farther than I expected, which is great. That's a win that you don't even expect that you're going to get. Like that's like the Browns.
You actually had a killer personality. I didn't know if you were just going to kind of be like, I make music and
dude, we've had people be that way.
I thought about like coming on like full blown I want to fucking die all the time thing, but I feel like that's a little too much for your listeners probably. So I tried to put on the Eddy Blake face.
Yeah, well that's. I mean, but we'll get you back and we'll talk the other way too. It doesn't matter to me. It's the best. Like I go for the best conversation. I mean, like I said, we've had Jake Johnson on here from New Girl.
That's amazing.
And I would say you were more fun to talk to than him.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Nick Miller. You ain't shit.
But once again, tell everybody where they can find you. Tell them, what they should download, what they should look for, and also like the other thing that you were talking about with you just said it.
Lo Vibez?
Yes. I knew it was Vibes, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, you're fine. So appreciate y'all listening. Eddy Blake. You can look me up on Instagram, Twitter at Eddy Blake Music. Eddy spelled with a Y because I'm a fucking weirdo. And then obviously on Facebook at Eddy Blake, or watch Eddy Blake if you're doing the little at. My new single Ghost Town came out on Wednesday for the video, and it came out on Friday on all streaming platforms. Save that shit, add it to your playlist.
It's badass.
I appreciate it.
You've heard it,
and
so
you obviously have heard it. But it's a game of algorithms out here. So if you add it to a playlist, even if you don't listen to that motherfucker, I appreciate it. Just anything helps because marketing isn't even hit for this motherfucker. So get in so you can tell your friends you're cool and heard it.
Yeah, you knew it before everybody else.
Right.
So, and also like I said, like I love those guys at the Smugcast. I definitely suggest I'm going to give them your information, and just tell them to look you up because they do have a really good podcast. It's very they're very sharp. They've got all their sound is very good. They always give me shit about my sound, but I think after we've upgraded with the sound panels that Jonny brought in, I think it sounds a lot better in here. But definitely want you guys to look hook up because they're in Greenwood, so they've got to be like 5 minutes away from you. You just pop in and do a show with them. They usually record at the same time as us. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to the future for you. Like I'm pumped. Like I'm pumped that we got you on the podcast at this point, because I'm hoping to see great things, and then like we can get you back on, and then that helps us both kind of. Also, I want to just go ahead and give you a invitation to October 21st. We're doing a live podcast at Colts Tailgate. It's more of a party, and it's more of like, because I do a fantasy football podcast on Wednesdays,
right?
But we're doing it kind of like that, but like I'm basically just bringing everybody that wants to like kind of just hop on the mic for a few minutes and talk, and then we're gonna do that at the very beginning, and then the rest is gonna just be a party.
So
we're just gonna
fucked up.
we're just gonna drink. We're gonna drink beer. We're gonna play fucking cornhole. We're gonna play music. We're gonna play your song on repeat like 3 or 4 times, and then I want to invite you to that. I want to invite the listeners to that, because if you guys want to hang out with us, just come out. It's gonna be October 21st, the Colts Tailgate. I'll get like the GPS location and like tweet that out or something, because you never know where you're going to be. Like I really haven't planned where I'm going to be in the tailgate. I'm just going to find a spot and post up. So that's what we did last year. But yeah, look for us. I mean, we're on anywhere you can get a podcast. I mean, literally just look up Google Juice in the Morning. You'll find it. We're on Spotify, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that we could get on Spotify.
That's dope.
But if you're using any kind of Alexa enabled device, you just tell them, Alexa, play Juice in the Morning. It'll play our most recent episodes. And then we're on Apple Podcasts and many other places. So just look it up. And obviously, if you're listening to this, share it with somebody, because I want that to happen. We've had less interaction the last few months, but I think it's because it's the summertime and I think people are busy. So I think as it starts to cool off a little bit, I think people are going to get back hunkered down, listening to podcasts and
in their little cocoon.
Yeah, and texting us and messaging us. And then also, if you have anybody that is interested in coming on, you're more than welcome to come on with them and bring them in, or they can come in on their own. Just tell them to hit us up and we're also email us at juice. It's juiceinthemorning@gmail.com. But once again, I appreciate you guys listening. We will see you guys next weekend.
Juice in the morning. Juice in the morning. Juice in the morning.